Independent journalist Don Lemon is speaking out after his federal arrest.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So earlier today, we had the breaking news that Don Lemon was arrested, and these were the details that we had at the time. So let me just update you on what happened in regards to Don Lemon's arrest. The Associated Press writes this. They said journalist Don Lemon and 3 other people were arrested Friday in connection with an anti-immigration enforcement protest that disrupted a service at a Minnesota church and increased tensions between residents and federal officials. Lemon was arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles where he had been covering the Grammy Awards. His attorney, Abe Lowell, said it's unclear what charge or charges Lemon and others are facing on the January 18th protest at the city's church in St. Paul, where a local official with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement serves as a pastor. Lemon, who was fired from CNN in 2023, has said that he has no affiliation to the organization that went into the church and that he was there as a journalist chronicling protesters. Don's attorney has released a statement. And so has CNN. So shout out to CNN for, even though they're not working with him anymore, they still have his back because they should as journalists. Because this could happen to CNN journalists. So Don's statement from his attorney says this. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There is no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources. Please keep in mind your tax dollars, keep that in mind as well, to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. And I think that this administration knows clearly that they have no standing in court. They did it to so many other people already. Tish James here in New York, they tried to do that with her and failed. But they're using this as a scare tactic against the people that they're attacking, but also us. They're saying, look what we can do. Look what we could try and get away with, because they haven't gotten away with it. Okay? So for those that are just joining us, Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents for doing his job as a journalist in the United States of America. I also saw that CNN released a statement. CNN released this statement. Shout out to our friends over at Variety. The FBI's arrest of our former CNN colleague, Don Lemon, raises profoundly concerning questions about press freedom and the First Amendment. The Department of Justice already failed twice to get an arrest warrant for Don and several other journalists in Minnesota, where a chief judge of the Minnesota Federal District Court found that there was, quote, no evidence that there was any criminal behavior involved in their work. The First Amendment in the United States protects journalists who bear witness to news and events as they unfold, ensuring that they can report freely in the public interest, and the attempt to violate those rights is unacceptable. We will be following this case closely. I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at every single person in Congress. I'm looking at the Senate. I'm looking at the House of Representatives on both sides. What are you guys doing to stop this administration? What are you guys doing? Shout out to those of you that called your local senators to stop the funding of ICE this past week. It worked. It worked. And this is why I said I have to go live today, because I really was going to take today off, because, you know, Beverly Hills is... What exactly is everyone supposed that you've elected. This midterm is going to be very interesting. This midterm elections is going to be very interesting on both sides. On both sides. Because some of you that want to be reelected, you're going to get primaried because you've done nothing. You've done nothing. Very concerning. We should all be concerned. It doesn't matter if you are a journalist. Honestly, everyone around the world should be concerned. Because if the attack on the First Amendment is happening here, what we've seen since Donald Trump has gone into office the first time around were other countries, other individuals in these countries trying to mimic what they've seen happen here in America. So this is why I say, yes, the attack on First Amendment speech and free speech is happening here. If it's happening here, it's going to happen in other places. Please understand, it might not happen this month. It may not happen this year, but it will. It will. All right, just giving you guys an update on this, okay? All right, we're going to move on from there. Free Don Lemon, period. Everyone in the chat, put your lemons. Shout out to, if you're a lemon head, let us know. Well, now we have more details. Don Lemon has spoken out since his arrest. He is actually probably live as we are recording this video, but his channel was live throughout the day with some of the colleagues that he has worked with over the years, and specifically on his YouTube channel, covering this case. And as I said in the previous video, we should be very concerned that our government has arrested a journalist for doing their job. This is just one of many symptoms of what we are dealing with here in America. And as I said in the previous video, it's very important for us to pay attention because it doesn't just have an effect here in America, it has an effect around the world. Let's take a listen to what Don Lemon had to say after being released from federal custody.
I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I had no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of federal agents to arrest me in the middle of the night for something that I've been doing for the last 30 years. And that
in the middle of the night. Can you imagine how scary that is? That our government officials spending our tax dollars to go in the middle of the night, a man that has had a very accomplished career, a black man, but it's not the first time that this administration has attacked black journalists, did this in the middle of the night. Can you imagine if he's willing to do this to someone like Don Lemon? What makes you think that he won't do it to you? And I'm speaking to the people that voted for this. I'm speaking to the people that defend this type of behavior still.
Is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
Here's the other element here, and I think it was Preston from Summerhouse Martha's Vineyard who said this, the first person I saw say this on Threads. The same energy and support that Jimmy Kimmel got after he was taken off the air, more support should be given to Don Lemon for doing what he's doing in regards to what's happening in Minnesota. He needs that same level of support. Jimmy Kimmel didn't get arrested. He just lost his job for a moment, but is now back on the air. Either way, all of it's wrong. Variety says a judge on Friday ordered Don Lemon to be released on his own recognizance after he was indicted on charges of interfering with a religious service during an ICE protest in Minnesota. They said that speaking outside the courthouse in downtown Los Angeles, Lemon said that he will not be deterred from his work as an independent journalist, as you saw from the video. They said Judge Patricia Donahue rejected the government's request to order a $100,000 bond. Mind you, Don could afford that. It doesn't matter. And also denied a request to limit his travel to New York and Minnesota. They said that Lemon wore a cream-colored suit. He spoke briefly, affirming that he had read and understood the charges against him. Alexander Robbins, the assistant U.S. attorney, argued that the restrictions were needed because Lemon poses a threat to the community. Do you hear the language that's being used? They said the defendant knowingly joined a mob to storm into a church and terrorize people engaged in worship services. Lemon's attorney, Marilyn Bernowski, argued that Lemon has no history of violence and does not pose a risk of flight. She asked that he be allowed to take a vacation in France this summer, which he will be, by the time we get to the summer, he will need it, but otherwise agreed to restrictions on his international travel. He's committed to fighting this, she said. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass attended the brief hearing. Lemon was ordered to make his next appearance in court in Minneapolis on February 9th. The former CNN anchor, who is now an independent journalist, was taken into custody by 2 federal agents in Los Angeles on Thursday night. According to his attorney, Abby Lowell, says that Lemon was in LA to cover the Grammy Awards on Sunday. His arrest comes after the Trump administration's Justice Department sought to charge him with civil rights violation in connection with his attendance at a January 18th anti-ICE protest inside a church at the St. Paul, Minnesota. Lemon live streamed the coverage of the Minnesota protests and has said that he was simply reporting on it. Georgia Fort, another independent journalist who covered the protests, has also been arrested but has since been released as well on her recognizance. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, as he said in his previous statement through his attorney, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done, his lawyer said in the original statement. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed that Lemon was arrested in addition to 3 other individuals over the Minnesota protest. She says, at my direction, mind you, this is not the first time that this DOJ has made these types of requests and they've been denied by these judges. She says, at my direction, early this morning, federal agents arrested Don Lemon, Traherne Jean Cruz, Georgia Fort, and Jamil Liddell Lundy in connection with the coordinated attack on city churches in St. Paul, Minnesota. She said more details soon. The White House also mocked Lemon's arrest on X. You would not believe the way that this White House conducts themselves on social media. You would never believe that this was the United States of America. So they said the White House also mocked Lemon's arrest on X, writing, "When life gives you lemons," alongside a graphic announcing the news of Don Lemon's arrest. You also recall in this video we showed you that CNN, the former employer of Don Lemon, spoke out because they see this as an issue for them as well, for their own journalists covering these stories. Guys, as I said to you before, we need to take this very seriously. We need to make sure that we are putting the same amount of pressure that we did on these other outlets when it came to the Jimmy Kimmel of it all. We need to make sure that we're putting pressure on this government, that they are not overreaching with their power. That means you need to put pressure on your local representatives. What you guys did this week in regards to reaching out to your senators to put pressure on them not supporting a bill that would fund ICE, you need to do the same again. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts on the news that Don Lemon has since been released. It looked like they were trying to have him have a bond, but the judge over the case said that will not be necessary. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.